Hi everyone, good evening. So what is this virtual network gateway? Uh, or else we can call it as an virtual private network also. A VPN gateway is a specific type of a virtual network gateway that is used to send encrypted traffic between an Azure virtual network and an on-premises location over the public internet. So here previously we discussed many things like this is your Azure environment, and initially we started with creating a VM, and once VM got created, to create a VM we need to have a VNet, and inside this VNet we created a VM, and then this VM needs to communicate with the another VM of a different VNet. What we have done? Peering. Everything is communication only. So to from here to here, if it want to communicate, what we have done, we configured peering between two VNets. So that is one way of communication. And same way, if this machine wants to go and access internet, then what we have done, we configured firewall. We configured firewall to communicate with the internet. How from internet we can block incoming access, and from outgoing, if this machine wants to go outside, it no need to have any public IP, and then it can contact to the firewall. Firewall will take that request and it will go and talk to the internet. So this is one way of communication. And now the requirement is, if it is an on-premises site, it's a different site. If you want to communicate, then how you are going to achieve that? It can be on-premises. So now how you are going to achieve? Here also you have VMs. So the solution is VPN. So you are going to configure VPN, which is like a VNG, virtual network gateway. So this will help you if you want to connect from this machine to this machine to the private IP. Like this is, it's running with 10.1.1.5, and maybe this is running with 170.14 16.5.7, something like this. From this private IP to this private IP, if you want to communicate, then we need to have this virtual network gateway. The same machine, the connecting ways different. Like when it want to connect here, we are establishing VNet peering. When it want to connect external world, then we are doing firewall. And now we want to connect to the traditional data center, we are doing with VNG, virtual network gateway. This is, you need to keep in mind how a VM to which kind of environments it is trying to connect. Based on that, you want to establish respective services. So now this VNG, how it is going through traffic? Through by using the public internet only. This is going to use the public internet and will go and connect here, and here also in on-premise also you should have a router. VNG is also nothing but a router. It's acting like a router. Basically, it's a virtual appliance. Whenever you create a VNG, it's a VMs in the background. We cannot see it. We just use the software which is installed inside that, but it's acting like a router. In physical data centers, whatever the routers will be there, okay, something like this, routers will be there. So what is the purpose of the router? It's only communication, establishing communication between two different networks. Like 10 series, 172 series, or in 10 itself, you have multiple networks. Then to communicate, you are going to use this one. And what is the purpose of switch? To establish communication between same network. That is the difference. So switch means all the machines cables will be connected. For example, This is a switch. So what switch will do? All the cables of the other end will be connected to the switch port like this. If it is 24 port switch, 48 ports switch, 128 port switch, all these machines will be connected to the switch. From this switch, there will be connection to the router. So switch is the purpose, communication between all these machines. Then only they can able to communicate because all they are connected to the switch. And router purpose is establishing connection between two different networks. So that's why we use router. So what is router? This is also one kind of device only here. Router is also like it contains some CPU, some RAM, little bit of storage, and it runs with some software which manages everything. What it will do? Completely it's routing table only. Route means what? It will have, if something is coming here with some IP, where it will go? It want to try to connect some specific IP in the routing table. It will define, okay, this is a network it is trying to reach, and go there and try to communicate with that particular network. That is what is defined inside this router. Same way that is now we are achieving with the virtual appliance. Here, so it is a virtual appliance we use. Backend it will create some VMs, and inside that it will have this software, and this software is going to work, act like a same like a router. So there we will define. And one thing you need to remember, it will use public internet. You can also use a VPN gateway to send encrypted traffic between Azure virtual networks over the Microsoft network. So we can use encrypted also, like because if it is traveling through network, internet, public internet, there is a chance of some hacking. Okay, so instead of that, you can encrypt the data whatever is accessing through from Azure to on-premises data centers. Each virtual network can have only one VPN gateway. Means one VNet can have only one VPN gateway. However, you can create multiple connections to the same VPN gateway. We'll see in coming slides what is this multiple connections to the same gateway. So now our agenda is to establish or connect to the on-premises data center. But as of now, we don't have any on-premises data center. So what we are going to do, we are going to take AWS environment here now. See, end of the day, we want few servers, some connectivity, and it should access through the internet. Whether it's on-premises or AWS doesn't matter. Both are same now for Azure, because end of the day, it should go and connect. This VM should connect to this VM. Only the difference is if it is an on-premises data center, we will talk to the network engineer of this on-premises data center, and we will ask them to provide access from here to here. Some configuration changes to do that in the router level, we will ask them. But this is an AWS environment. We are also cloud engineers, so we know what to do here. Same like here, whatever we are doing here, also we need to configure few things so that we can able to access this one. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to install RAS, and we'll take one Windows server, and inside this Windows server, we'll configure RAS, and then this is also same act like a our like same VNG here also it is going to act like a router, and based on that it will go and connect to this VMs in the back end. So now let's go and create this VNG. While creating, it will show multiple options. We'll discuss each and every option in detail. What is that? Like, what are the options are available in the VNG? So now let's go and virtual network gateways. This is the one, and create resource group. I think my free trial is going to end today or by tomorrow, and this is the name. This is the name I'm providing, and this is for East US. And here it is asking gateway type. Gateway type means this is like it is acting like a gateway, right? To go outside and talk to the external world. This is a gateway. So while creating this VNG, it is asking what is the type. and it is showing VPN and express route. So we are configuring VPN now, virtual private network, and it is asking you want to configure express route. Express route VPN both are for the same purpose only, but express route is bit advanced one compared to the VPN. That is the reason we don't select express route. Like express route is like a, as I mentioned here, it is taking public internet and we are establishing this connection. But express route don't use public, so there is a separate connection between this on-prem to Microsoft data center separately. So it will travel through that separate network instead of this public network. So we'll select VPN, and a VPN type route based and a policy based. This you need to understand. What is this VPN type? So before understanding this route based and policy based, you need to understand this SKU licensing. So whatever the limits or features we call it, right? This SKU. So here we have multiple limits here. So here if you see in my slide, I think it is bit older one. This is the one, the same one. I'll try to SKU, Virtual Network Gateway SKU. VNG SKU Azure. We'll see the latest one. Down. This is the one. So this is the generation 1 and generation 2. Generation 1 is obviously, you know, bit old one. Generation 2 is the latest one. And these are just the names of VPN Gateway 2, VPN Gateway 1, VPN Gateway 3. And what is the requirement? So for example, we'll talk about generation 2. So if you see VPN Gateway 2, maximum S2S and P2S. So you need to understand what is this S2S and P2S. This is like a site to site. It may be, see, in on-premises, you have one data center at one location, another data center, another location. So we call it as an, that's why site, whether it can be on-premises or in other offices. It depends, any other cloud. So site 3. So site to site means this way. So here, this is want to try to connect here and here. So like this, it will support when you are creating this VNG, from this VNG, you can able to access 30 sites. So if you see here, max site to site, VNet to VNet tunnel. So it is going to have max 30 sites you can connect, site to site. S2S means site to site. Point to site. So what is this point to site? Point to site means obviously nowadays everyone is doing work from home. Maybe now office has been started. Mostly we are going to office for 2 days or 3 days. But whenever you want to work from home, what you are going to do as an employee? So we are going to connect to VPN first. Maybe we are having some Cisco client office installed in our laptop, and there is a one URL, right? To that URL only, some XYZ, some client dot something like URL will connect to it. And once you connect it, then you can log into your office environment, whether it's any portals, anything you want to access, then only you can able to connect. So VPN. So in that way, this is called point to site, means one person, one device is connecting, specifically one device is connecting to this environment to access this Azure environment. From a normal internet, I cannot able to access to it, but we should connect to the VPN. Then only we can able to access the environment. So this is called point to site. Single device is connecting here. So likewise, single device, how many it is supporting? You take any of the SKU, it is supporting maximum 128 only here. But if you change the protocol with this protocol, IKE protocol, version 2 protocol, then you can see here 10,000. If you take VPN Gateway 5, then you are going to get 10,000 max with the 10 Gbps. So this is different models are available. Like this is the throughput network you are going to get. So this is very high end. So based upon the SKU, whatever you are selecting during the creation, based on that, you are going to get the bill. So this is how max you can get 10,000 with this protocol. So you can enable this one. So now if we go back and talk about route based and policy based. So if you see here, policy based VPN devices use the combinations of prefixes from both networks to define how traffic is encrypted, decrypted through IPsec tunnel. So this is policy based. This is route based. Simply, we can understand policy based is a basic one and old technology. Route based is the latest one with advanced technology. So everyone uses route based only. The difference is, see, this is your VPN and this is some VNet. From this VNet, you are creating this VPN. Whatever the network is at 10.1.0. If this is site 2, site 3, site 4, multiple sites are there on-prem. And here also some VPN connection is there. And here it is 10.2 network, 10.3 network, 10.4 network. So here what you need to do, you need to manually create a policy. From here to here, if you want to connect, you are going to define a policy that this is my source network and this is my destination network. And same way, if you want to connect here, same source and destination, you need to provide in this traffic selectors. Then only from this machine or from this network, any machine want to go and connect here, it will check in this traffic selectors and it will go and connect here. Same way here also. So traffic selectors. So you need to provide manually create everything. And that is also through PowerShell, you can able to see this one. And route based means by default, the name itself is available. Route means whenever while creating VPN, if you select a route based, then automatically backend it will create a route table. And in that route, this is defined 10.2, 10.3, 10.4 tunnels has been defined. So in the traffic selectors, you don't need to go and manually select any over here. You don't need to select any specific IP ranges. Okay. So whenever if it is trying to go and reach here, so automatically it will check in the route table and it will go and talk to this particular site. If you remember at the time of creating firewall, we created route tables. So that route tables will decide that any VNet from the VM from the VNet want to go and access the internet. First, it will check the route tables, and there it is mentioned that go and talk to the firewall. Before route table, it was not looking with the firewall directly. It was going by its own, and it was connected to the internet. Same way. So here you don't need to do any manual thing. This route table will automatically get created. Understood? So whenever it's trying to reach, then it will update the route table and then it will go and talk to this machine, to this network. So that's the difference between route based and a policy based. So obviously we should go with the route based only. So route based is VPN devices use any to any wildcard traffic selectors and let routing forwarding tables direct traffic to different IPsec tunnels. So it is typically built on router platforms where each IPsec tunnel is modeled as a network interface. So we need to select route based only here. And here I want to go with this one. And if you see here, VPN GW1, this is the only SKU is available in the generation 1. Remaining from VPN Gateway 2, it is available in both, but in what is available in generation 1, only like this one. So now I'll select this one minimum and virtual network. Which virtual network will choose can be associated Azure AG-RG. Which network it is? I don't know what is inside this one. Maybe it contains application gateway or what. I'll do one thing. I'll go and check existing VNet. I'll create new VNet. So I want to check the existing VNet network space, address space, and then based on that we can create. It was recommending this one. This is 10.10.0.0/16. Okay. I'll create a new virtual network. Name VNG network resource group. Create new resource group. VNG-RG. And automatically it took this address range 10.3.0.0/16. Let it be default one. And it's creating one subnet 10.3.0.0/24, one subnet from this one. Okay. And now, okay. This is a one. So this is a public IP address it is asking. Public IP, basic and standard. What is the difference between basic and standard public IP address? So basic means easily it can be accessible. Standard means it's like you cannot able to access easily with the standard one. Like what can say? Let me get the exact one. Public IP standard versus basic. So basic public IPs do not support availability zones. Standard SQ public IP can be associated to a virtual machine or a load balancer. From front end, if you are creating a public IP address in a region that supports availability zone, the availability zone setting is set to zone redundant by default. So if you understand, if it is a standard public IP, we can like whenever we are creating firewall, we need one IP. So like that, whenever we are creating some virtual appliances, we are assigning one public IP, right? So standard IP can be assigned that way, but basic IP cannot be assigned in that way. So that's why there is a little bit of difference is there. And create new. I'm not sure whether it is available or not. Let me go and check public IP addresses. Okay, only one is there. So I can create a new public IP. Create new Galaxy VNG pub IP. So this is the name I'm providing. And then public IP address SKU standard. And assignment is dynamic or static. Obviously, you know, right? Dynamic means whenever if there is any maintenance activity is happening to the VNG in the back end, it sometimes may restart. So during that time, it will get a new IP if it is a dynamic. But we don't want a dynamic IP. We want a static fixed IP. So that's why automatically it got selected static IP. And enable active mode. So if you enable this one, by default is enabled. That's why this option is showing here. If you disable, that option is not available. If you see after this, immediately it is asking configure BGP. So if I enable, it is asking second public IP address. So what is this enable active mode means? So as I mentioned, whenever we create this VNG backend minimum, it will create 2 VMs. We cannot see them and we cannot see their like information. We see only VNG information front end. But backend it will create two VMs, and these two VMs will be like this one. Okay, if you see here, this is the one active and this is the standby. Same, this is active and standby. So minimum two will be there. So it is asking this whenever you selected active here, it is asking one more IP, one more public IP, because it needs to assign IP to this machine also. Why? Because whenever if something happens to this active, then standby will come into the picture. Understood? Or else, even though if you don't give active here, if you disable this one, it doesn't mean that backend only one machine is there. Still two machines will be there. But at that time, what happens? You cannot achieve this method. Active method you cannot achieve. Only you can achieve this one. Means if this machine goes down, then whatever the VNG front end that public IP is there, that will be switched to this machine. Then this way you can able to communicate with the on-prem. But if you want both should be active, then you should have two IPs compulsory. That's why the name itself, it is telling active. Means both active means obviously both needs to have IPs then, public IPs. So that your VPN will send traffic from these two machines to this one, or maybe from there also if someone asking your environment, vice versa. So both ways communication is coming, right? If you see the arrow marks from here to here, here to here. So your VPN so it might have internally backend two VMs with running with software. So, but front end VN only will be visible, but backend it is having two public IPs and it is going to send the traffic or from incoming or outgoing with the help of these two, it is going to send. But if it is an active, if you enable active, this is the way. Or else active passive means this way. This is one scenario. You have only one on-prem site, then it is going with this one. And active passive means this is active, this is passive. From one way, it is connecting to multiple data centers. So this is active passive, multiple sites. So on premises, multiple sites, still it is going with a single machine only. And active means two scenarios. Multiple, this is multiple sites and this is single site, but both are active. So in the VPN gateway, both the VMs are online. Outgoing and incoming traffic is going from both of these two machines. Even though if it's single on-prem data center or multiple on-premises data centers, vice versa, incoming and outgoing. If you see here, from this way to this way to this way is also happen. It doesn't mean that only here only it will send. So traffic, if any VM want to go and connect from this way also, it will go and connect, and this way also it can go and connect. So that's why you can able to select this enabled and second public IP address to another machine, and Galaxy VNG pub IP2. This is the name I'm providing, and IP is standard. Configure BGP. This is one of the protocol. So this protocol basically when it will be used, when if it is a advanced networking, like complicated networking is there, then it will be used. For example, there is one more site, and that site is connected from this site to this site, and there is another site here, and that site is connected from here to here. If it is your networking is completely complicated, then better to use BGP protocol. So as of now, we don't want that. We don't have any of that complicated networking, so that to maintain everything in a better way. So we'll just go with disabling it. So these are the options which is expecting here. And previously it used to take 1 hour. When 1 year ago, when I was taking the same sessions, at that time it was taking 1 hour to create this. Later on, it changed the time. Last time it took around 15 minutes. Now let's go and see how much time it will take this virtual network gateway. So this is the information we provided. Review and create. So in the meantime, what we can do, aws.amazon.com, we can log in here. Just a minute, let me bring my mobile. Okay, so you need to have AWS account. Those who don't know about AWS, I cannot do anything. Like you need to learn a little bit of AWS and to practice this, or else you can ignore this topic if you don't want to do it. Okay, so AWS your account you should have, and so I am going to give the password. So here we want some environment. So that's why we are taking this as an AWS environment. Same like VNet in Azure, we have a VPC over here, and EC2 is to create virtual machines inside the AWS. So we'll go here inside this EC2, and we need to create a VMs here, instances. And in the meantime, I'll go and see. It is still in the progress. It is taking some time. So here, this is a console to create the EC2 instance. Instance is nothing but a virtual machine. In AWS, we call it as an instance. In Azure, we call it as a virtual machine. So launch instance. And here I'm going to select server. This is the name I'm providing. And I'm taking Amazon Linux image. And then instead of t2.micro, I'll take bit high server, which is going to have more CPUs and like 2 CPUs, 8 GB of RAM. I'm going to take key pair. I'm going to create a new key pair. See, in Azure, we have option to select password or key pair, but here we have only option to use the key pair. You don't have option to create a username and password. So create a key pair and enter key pair. Azure RAS. This is the name I'm providing, and a .pem I'm using. Create key pair. So here I'm storing that, and this is a VPC which I'm creating. Default VPC means VNet, and this is a subnet. If you want to have any specific subnet, you can select it. No preference. And this is security group, same like network security group in Azure. Which ports you want to allow. As of now, to connect to that machine, I want to have only SSH. So this way we can select it, and default 8 GB of storage to run the operating system. Oh, I selected this one, right? Amazon Linux. Actually, I should select Windows for RAS server. So I was surprised like why Windows is showing 8 GB storage for operating system. So once I select Windows here, I'll select specific image. I'll go with the 19. I don't want to go with the latest operating system. So I'll go with the 2019 and then 30 GB minimum 30 GB will be there. And advanced details, this is not required. If I click on launch instance, it will get created, but I don't create now because anyhow we'll stop the session now. Tomorrow again we'll create it. Before starting the class, I'll just create and make it ready. Unnecessary again, it should run till tomorrow even if I stopped it. So once this is ready, then what I'm going to do tomorrow, we'll create these machines. And once this is ready, how to establish communication, we'll see this both site to site and point to site. How to establish these two, we'll see tomorrow practically. Understood? Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about virtual network gateway, and we'll just go a brief about this virtual network gateway, and then we'll start continue the practical. So what is the purpose of this virtual network gateway? If from your Azure, if you want to connect to your on-premises data centers or maybe to different cloud, so what you need to have a router. You need to configure a router. So here virtual network gateway is going to act like a router, and whatever the VMs which is inside this Azure account, they can go and connect to your on-premises data centers, virtual machines or physical machines, whatever it may be, to the private network. Here main concept is private network. Like with the help of private IP, we can able to communicate each other. So which is completely different site, and here Azure is a different site. From on-premises virtual machine or machine to Azure, and from Azure to on-premises, we can able to communicate with the help of the private IP. We can able to communicate. So for that purpose, what we need to do, we need to configure virtual network gateway in your Azure network. Like for example, in this VNet, if this wants to go and access, then in this VNet, you need to create a virtual network gateway. So whatever the subnets are inside this VNet, they all can go and can able to access it. And same way in the on-premises. So we cannot create any on-premises. So that's the reason we are going to create environment in the AWS. So inside this AWS, same kind of router we need to create here. So we don't have any physical routers here. So that's the reason we are going to create a RAS over here. So this is going to help act like a router, and whatever the machines are inside this AWS environment, they can able to go and connect to this VMs over here. So with the help of this one. So yesterday we created this virtual network gateway, and we need to create this machine now. I thought to create this machine, but due to some other work, I couldn't able to create this. So we can create a Windows machine, and inside that we need to configure this one. So once we configure this, what we need to tell this RAS that we have a gateway here, and that gateway needs to be configured here. Same way here also we need to configure gateway of on premises over here. Then only they both know, right? This is the gateway we need to go through, and after that we can create a VMs and we can just test it. So this is completely practical. So step by step we'll follow now. So we already created a virtual network gateway. This is the one yesterday which we created, Galaxy NG01. This is got created. Now we go to the AWS environment and we'll prepare the same kind of router virtual appliance over there. So as of now, I connected to the VPC. So this is VPC is also same like a VNet inside the AWS. So how it is VNet in the Azure, same way in AWS we have a VPC concept. By default, we have a VPC in every region. If you see, by default, it's got selected North Virginia, and in every region, you can see one default VPC. If you don't want, then you can create your own VPC also. So as of now, I'm going to use this default VPC. I will launch the VM inside this VPC, or else you can create your own VPC. So now go to the services EC2. I'm going to launch a VM instances, launch instance. So here AWS route server. So this is the name I'm providing. And Windows 2019 I'm selecting here, the operating system. And instance type I'm going to select at least it should have, I'm going to select 4 CPU 16 GB RAM. You can select this one also, but it will perform very slow. So that's the reason I'm selecting this machine, 4 CPU 16 GB RAM. And yesterday I think I created one key pair, right? So this one Azure RAS. So I'm selecting this key pair. This is the first time, then you need to create a new key pair. And networking, this is only one VPC is available, so that VPC is also selected. And by default it is going to have some subnets, so no preference. If you don't have any preference, then automatically it will select one of the subnets. And auto assign public IP enable, it will have one public IP. And security group, so allow RDP from traffic. This is a Windows server, so we can able to connect from anywhere. So from any IP we can able to go and connect to it. And it is expecting 30 GB of storage, because to load the operating system. And then I'm going to launch this instance. So machine is launched. It will take some time. In the meantime, we'll launch one more server, because we created this server, but to testing purpose we can have one more server. And so I'm going to launch one more instance. Because this is a Windows server will take at least 4 minutes of time to connect to it. It will not allow immediately to log into the server. So Windows server, and OS is Windows. So this is also 2019. So instance type, I'll take 2 CPUs. This one, 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM. For this also I'm selecting the same key pair. Here we don't have a password mechanism. Obviously we should go with the key based only. And this is a VPC, the same VPC. And for this also we are allowing RDP. Same 30 GB and launch instance. So instance, this one also launched. So in the meantime, we'll go and try to connect to this machine. But if I select this one, if you see the private IP range is this one, 172 series is assigned to this machine. So for this, the private range is this is the one. When you are going to create your own VPC, then you can use whatever the IP range you want. By default, it will give 172 series to the default VPC. So now we can connect to this machine, take this IP. Where is the public IP? This is the one. We need to connect to it. And before that, we should select this Windows machine and click on connect. And here it will provide you the password, like how to get the password. And if you select this RDP client, and here you can see get password, click on get password, and whatever the key which we've downloaded, you need to upload that key. So upload that key, and where it was the key, this is the one, this is the key, and decrypt password, it will provide the password. So this is a password. So copy this password and take the remote session RDP from your local machine, and let me copy the password somewhere, and this is an IP we need to select now. So this is a public IP, select it and use this connect, and username is administrator, and password whatever we copied now, that is a password. And next time when you want to log in, this is not the same password, again you need to upload the key and it will provide you the new password, until unless you go and manually change the password. Once you log in, if you change the administrator password, then that is fixed. By the till that time, it is a temporary only. Again, when you are trying to log in, this password will not work. You need to upload the key and it will decrypt the password. You will get new password. So before this, we need to do one setting. I missed one setting on this machine. So here, whenever we go to this EC2 instances, here we need to select this machine and go to the instance state, not instance state, action, networking, and here select this change source destination check. Once you click on it, source destination check, you just make it stop. Okay, so save this on your AWS, whatever the machine which we are going to use it as a router. So to that machine, select it, actions, networking, and change source destination check, select this and disable it. Why? Because it's kind of a blocking. Okay, so whenever it is going to monitor the traffic also. So Microsoft will, in the Microsoft documentation, will recommend that you can disable this one, otherwise you are going to get some communication problem. So once you did it, then we already log into this machine, and now here go to the, this is as of now this is just a Windows machine, Windows operating system, server operating system, it is running. So we need to make this as an router, remote access server. So it's like a RAS. RAS means remote access server. We need to make it. To make it, we need to install some software inside that. So go to server manager. So open this application. So here you can see add roles and features, right? So select this feature. Select server manager is collecting inventory data. Okay. So once it is done, then we can click on this option, add roles and features. Still it is taking time. Okay, so just click on this option add roles and features and click on next. Again next, the default one. So here also default one. And here in this checkbox, select remote access. So select only remote access over here. So remote access provides seamless connectivity through. This is going to act like a VPN from AWS side. So if you install this software, this machine is going to act like a VPN. Same like in Azure, how we configured that virtual network gateway. So RAS provides traditional VPN services, including site-to-site connectivity. So select this remote access. Next, and next. Here you select routing. Okay. So add features. When you select routing, automatically it is selected direct access and VPN RAS. So this also got selected. Then next. Next. Don't change anything here. Default. Next. Install. So this will take some time. So now what we need to do, we want this machine should able to access this machine. So how it knows that there is a machine, it should go and connect. With this RAS server only, it should go and connect. So we, once this one is created, this one is created, we are going to establish a communication between AWS RAS and Azure Virtual Network Gateway. So we need to establish communication between these two. So before that, we need to tell these servers that we have a gateway here. You should go from this one. Then only this gateway knows that we have a here another gateway, and with the help of this one, you can go and enter into this network. So we should edit the route tables of these two servers, stating that go from this way. So I'll go to the AWS. So as of now, uh, this is the machine, and select subnet in whichever subnet it is there. Where is the subnet? Here. You see, this is a subnet ID. This is the machine I selected. Subnet. And to this subnet, select it, and you can see a route table. Select the route table, and here we are going to add edit route table. Oh, where is the option to create a new route here? Okay. Okay. Yeah, here. So in this subnet, below subnets, you can see these route tables. So here you can go to the routes, and here you can just click on edit routes. So here we can add a route here. So just click on add route, and destination you can give your Windows machine IP, like whatever the RAS server is there, you can provide that. So this is a IP range of our Azure VNet. So this is IP range we are providing, destination, and target we are selecting this as an instance here. So select instance here, and here we can see our Windows servers. If you see here, again if I click on instance, you can see here AWS route server, Windows server. We need to select this machine. So where we want to connect this VM, whichever VM want to connect to here, so we are providing with the help of this one, it should reach this network. So here our Azure network is this one. If you see virtual network of this VNG, if you go back here, you can see 10.3.0.0. Did I give the same thing? Sorry, 10.3.3.0.0. So this is a network we want to reach destination with the help of this target. So what is this target? So this is our Windows RAS server that we need to select. So how to select it? We need to just select instance because it's a virtual machine. So that's why we need to select instance. And here with the help of this name, we can able to provide it. AWS route server, select this and save these changes. So we have only single route here. This is available. And if you go to the subnets and let me go to the instance, the second instance, and go to the subnet. And if you see here route table, this one is also added. If you see here for the subnet, so wherever the another machine which we created a normal Windows server, for that it is available. So it can go and connect. But as of now, the real configuration is not yet done. So we'll go to this Windows server now, whether installation is finished or not. I think installation is finished. If you see here, this amber mark, so post deployment configuration, this you need to do. Once we are done with the routing tables configuration, come back here. Once this RAS installation is completed, we should select this, open the getting wizard. Means whatever the RAS we installed, it is going to open that wizard, RAS wizard. There we need to configure few things. So here select deploy VPN only, and this is a wizard. If you see routing and remote access, so this is a wizard, and you can see as of now this is showing as a down mark because we did not configure anything. So here you just right click and configure and enable routing and remote access. So we are going to configure this server, RAS server. Next, and here you need to select custom config because we are going to do, it doesn't know to which remote network it needs to connect. So that's why we need to define it everything. So select custom config, and here we are going to use this service as a VPN service. Finish. Now start service. So once this is done, it is going to create one interface here, and now you can see green color. And now if you expand it, it is showing some information over here. So now you need to click on network interfaces. So then you click on new demand dial interface, select this one. Next, give any name, and this one you can name it as an like a AWS router service. Give some name, and next, and here connect using virtual private network, connect using PPO or Ethernet. Here it should give IK protocol. Why it is not giving IK protocol? Because Azure supports only IK protocol, but here it is not providing IK protocol. Azure is not going to support okay, maybe next steps we may see IK protocol. So connect using virtual private network, select this option. Yeah, here it is showing. So this is IK protocol. Remaining protocols it will not support by the Azure. So it will support only IK protocol, and select this. And host name or IP address such as microsoft.com, or so here we need to give where we want to access destination address. So here we want to give the NAT gateway, network gateway, virtual network gateway IP, we need to provide it here. So I'll go here, and where is the public IP of this virtual network gateway? So this is the one. Copy this and provide it here, and erase the name. Just IP is enough. And next, route IP packets on this interface. Yes. Next, here you need to add the destination network also. So which network you are trying to connect. So here add 10.3.0.0, and the subnet mask is 16. If you see here, this is a network, because we are configuring this VNet IP address, the IP address range 10.3.0.0/16. So this is the one we are configuring, so that whatever the VMs are inside this can able to access here. So we already provide the IP address of this VNet, virtual network gateway. Now we are providing this IP range. And here if you see, /16 means what? 255.255.0.0. 255.255.0.0. This any value you can give, metric value. I am giving 1 as a metric value. Next, username is not required. Default values, finish. So if you see here, new interface has been created. So as of now it is showing disconnected. And now what you need to do, right click on it, properties, go to the security, and here select this one, use pre-shared key for authentication, and give some key. Later on I will let you know what is the purpose of this key. So here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, this is the key I am providing here. Done. And I'll try to connect. If I click on connect, we'll see whether it will go and connect. It will take some time. If everything is correct, then it will go and try to connect with the virtual network gateway, because we provided the IP here. Maybe for the first time, second time, it will take some time for configuration. Then it will go and connect. An error occurred during connection to the internet. The network connection between your computer and the VPN server could be established because the remote server is not responding. Firewall NAT routes between your computer. Okay, we'll try once again. Maybe firewalls, security groups, or else we can give any for that one security group. So we'll select this server, security. This is a security group. Still not connected. And Inbound rules, edit inbound rules, add rule, all traffic. Not this is inbound, like it is going to outbound. Outgoing by default it is allowed. Nothing is trying to connect here. So incoming we no need to allow because this is trying to go and connect to this one. So it will take some time. We'll see. We'll give some time. In the meantime, we'll go and establish network gateway, virtual network gateway. Okay, so let it be. Now I'll go to the VNG. So here VNG is configured. Now let me take a new paint. Here in the Azure, we have a VNG and VNG is configured, but we did not tell that we have a site and that site is having also one RAS server. Which same way whatever we provided the IP of this VNG over here and this network over here, same way we need to provide this RAS server details also to this VNG. So now we just created this, but we did not configure anything related to this RAS server. So now let's go and configure. So here go to the VNG and here you can see configuration means while creating this whatever the options you selected, active is selected, gateway private IP is been disabled. So this is an SKU. What is the SKU are available? If you want to switch, you can switch it. So go to the connections here and under the connections click on add and give name Azure route to AWS something whatever the name you want, and connection type is not VNet to VNet, it is site to site we need to select, and then here you need to select the local network gateway. So here if you click on this one local network gateway, you don't have any local network gateway. So here local network gateway means don't confuse that it should be inside your virtual network gateway or inside it's Azure. Here local network gateway means the destination. So in this local network gateway, we need to configure the destination details. So this way also you can configure create new, or in the search bar if you see local network gateways, this is also you can configure. So first we'll go to this service and again I'll come back to the virtual network gateway. Then it will reflect whatever I create with the help of this local network gateways. And now here you can see create option, create, and resource group name VNGRG and region I think West US or East US VNG was created. In the meantime, let me go and check. Still it is having problem. So it is in the East US. So I am creating in the East US and name we can provide in a name Azure. Something like this, and IP address we need to provide the IP address of the RAS server now here. So go to the EC2 and cancel instances and select this IP address public IP. So here we are providing like how we provided a virtual network gateway IP at the time of configuring RAS server. Same way we are providing RAS server IP over here and address space. So this is a IP address range of the Azure, AWS. So what is that IP range? You see 17.31.0.0. If we go to the VPC, we can see the IP range. So this is the one 170.31.0.0. So give this IP range. So configure BGP not required, review and create. So here also we provided RAS server IP address and the network which we want to reach. So with the help of this IP address, RAS IP address, we can able to communicate to the private network. So it is getting deployed. So it is created. Now again we go back to the virtual network gateways, and here I try to establish a connection. So connection here, add name AWS to Azure, and this is not connect to VNet to VNet, this is site to site, and here this is our virtual network gateway, and choose a local network gateway, and here it is now showing whatever I created just now. It is showing both the ways you can do. If you click on create now, here itself you can create, or search the local network gateway, and from there also you can do this. And this is what we created. And then here if you see shared key, I'm giving 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So whatever the key which I created here, the same key we need to provide here. So that is how it will go and authenticate with this RAS server. That's why we created that shared key. Select this one, and we need to select this private IP or enable this one. And there also we selected IKE version 2 protocol, default one, no NAT required. Okay. So here also we configured, and in the connections tab you can see. So it is updating in the status. It should show as a connected. Then only it's confirmed that it is connecting there. But what happened to this one? Still it is not yet connected. See, now it got connected here. So without any issue it got connected. Initially it was giving some trouble, but now it got connected. Means successfully this RAS server connected to this VNG successfully. Now I'll try to connect from this VM, and I'm not sure whether we have any VM over here. I'll check. Home, virtual machines. Where is virtual machines? Virtual machines. Okay, these are not belongs to those VNet. I'll create a virtual machine quickly. Create a VM, and resource group is VNGRG, and virtual machine name is Windows Test, and East US region, and images we are going to use Windows Server, and then we'll take 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM, administrator username, Cloud Freak, and the password. So next disks, and networking is important because we need to launch this in the VNG network, the same network. Then only because this IP range we provided in the RAS server of the AWS. So it's the same one, NSG. So basic RDP is allowed. So from there also we'll try to create this login to this RDP, management, review and create. So right now I'm creating this machine so that from here to here we'll try to connect whether it will come from here and connect to this machine or not. So I'm creating this machine now. This is already available. So create it, and parallelly we'll see whether connections is showing connected. Oh, status is unknown. What happened? Refresh. Yeah, status is connected. If you see here, status is connected means successfully this is also got connected from Azure VNG to AWS RAS. So only thing is once this server is ready, then we can do testing from here to there, there to here. With the help of private IP, we should able to connect. But here status is showing unknown. Maybe it will take some time. And inside if you see status is showing connected. Deployment is completed. Go to the resource and take the private IP of this machine, not the public IP. Refresh. So agent is not yet ready, it seems. Refresh. We got the private IP. Take this, refresh whether everything is working fine or not. And in the AWS, go to the services EC2 instance. Log into the second server, not the RAS server, the second server. So this is the one. Take this and copy, because for me I need to connect to this machine with the public IP because I am connecting from my laptop. So that's why I'm using public IP to connect to this server. So copy it and connect, so that we need to have the password. RDP client, get password. So we need to get the password, upload the key. This is a key and a decrypt password, and this is a password for the second server of the AWS machine. So this is a one. Now go to the instance, take the public IP, remote desktop connection, use it, and administrator and the password which we got it now. So we logged into the AWS Windows machine. This is not the RAS server, the another machine. From here, we want to connect to the Azure Windows machine with the help of private IP. So now, do we want to allow this? So here From this machine, I am taking remote desktop. Ten dot 3.0.4 is the IP address of Azure Windows machine, and it is asking for credentials. I provided Cloud Freak, Zoom 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, I connected successfully. If you see, successfully I got connected from where? From this machine to this machine. I got connected successfully with the help of this RAS. So you can see Cloud Freak. So now vice versa also we can try. So now we just want to see CMD, so that IP address, IP config. You see 10.3.0.4 IP address of which one? Azure Windows Server 10.3.0.4. Understood? And what is the IP address of this one? 35.170.199/76 is IP address of which one? AWS instance. This one 35.170.199.76 is the IP address of this one. So if you click on here, disconnect, it got disconnected. Now right now I'm inside the, you see here for AWS machines, clearly you can see this kind of information on the desktop wallpaper, and this is a public IP and this is a private IP. 170.31.29/51 is the IP address of AWS machine. So from here I could able to connect to the Azure machine. And now what I'll do, I'll disconnect. No, right now this is only the trash server as of now. Now what I'll do, I'll take remote server, and this time I'll try to connect from the Azure machine to the AWS machine. So here it doesn't have public IP. With the public IP only we can able to connect from our end. So I'll go. Why it did not assign public IP? Maybe it's full or what? Okay, they are full actually. Yesterday we provided two IPs for VNG, and this is using for the application gateway. So I'll do one thing, I'll remove this from the application gateway. Connect resources it. I don't think it will allow to delete it. Okay. Yeah, disassociate means there is no option to disassociate. It is grayed out. That's why I was trying to delete. So we'll do one thing. Maybe for VNG also it is expecting compulsory. It needs one IP. Otherwise that service will not work. That's why it is not allowing to disassociate. Virtual networks configuration, active mode, disable, save. If it disable active mode, then only one server IP is enough. So it is going to act like a active and passive. So here active passive means only one IP is enough. So if whenever something happens to active, that IP will map to standby. So So that's why I disabled. Let's see if it works. Then I'm going to get by today. I think this free trial also going to over. I need to upgrade it to the pay as you go. Then we don't face these kind of issues for free trial limited IPs. So once this is done, see for me almost 6,000 credit is completed. More 7,000 is left. So once this is completed, then we can test it from Azure Windows Machine to AWS. Basically, VNG will take a lot of time to create itself, and changes also taking a lot of time to get affected. After that, we'll go Azure Active Directory and databases topics. Okay. Okay, guys. Have a nice evening. We'll meet you tomorrow. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.